Hello everyone, it's me, Julie, and I'm back with another video. In fact, I haven't made a video talking face to face to the camera in a long while, but I thought I'd come on here and talk to you about my new love, and my new love is crochet. I started about a year ago and I've made several things, but in the last several weeks, few weeks, I would say, since the end of term, I'm a teacher, so since the middle of July, I've started making characters from the Winnie the Pooh series. And you may be seeing that I'm wearing this cardigan. Can you see there is Piglet here and Winnie the Pooh there? And if I turn around, you'll see some other characters. Can you see them? Yeah, anyway, this cardigan is from Truffle Shuffle and I love it so much, although it's not really conducive for the weather today. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Currently, in Downham it's 33 degrees Celsius with clear skies and sun. Tonight, you can expect clouds with a low of 18
Alexa,
degrees.
stop. So yeah,
Here is your traffic update.
Alexa, stop. So yeah, I'm just wearing it now for the purpose of revealing all of my characters. Anyway, so the first character I made was Winnie the Pooh. And I got the pattern for Winnie from a company called Emily Patterns. And I've been making a lot of their designs. And when I saw Winnie on there, I thought this looks so cute. I must make it myself. And also you get the pattern for his red jumper, sweater, pullover, t-shirt, whatever. Actually has buttons on the back. So if you wanted to, I guess you could make him wear it like a small jacket. Anyway, I just love this Winnie the Pooh. I think it has a true likeness to the real thing. So much so that when I tried to use AI to make him move, it said it was copyright. This is someone else's character. You can't do it. I thought, well, it must be a good likeness. But so that's Winnie the Pooh. And what you may or may not have noticed is that there is a pot of honey on the sleeve here, and we know Winnie the Pooh loves his honey, but there wasn't a honey pattern with this Winnie the Pooh, so I went online and found another one and I made a little pot of honey. And you can see here honey is spelled Hunny, the way that Winnie spells it, not how I would like children in my class to spell honey, although it is phonetically sound. There's a little pot of honey with all the honey dripping down, and I think that's a nice touch to go together with him. I had to scale the pattern down as well because it was for a different Winnie the Pooh altogether, but I'm really happy with the way those two turned out. So after making Winnie, who I've just thrown over there, I decided to make Eeyore. Now, someone at my school had asked me if I would make an Eeyore, and I couldn't see an Eeyore that I liked, but Emily Patterns, where I got the Winnie the Pooh from, and who I've been using for a lot of my projects lately, had this Eeyore. And now I found it quite tricky placing patches in the right place. Even though I pin them down, they always seem to shift slightly to the left or the right. And then doing all the stitching on his body, his eyebrows, the stitching down the center. Oh, it was tricky for me, but I managed to do it. And the fact that he's slightly skewiff to me makes him even more unique. Also, what was tricky was the loop stitches for his hair. It is a bit patchy. I had no idea what I was doing, but I'm happy enough with it. So there's Eeyore. Also, Eeyore has a tail that can come off because he doesn't have a tail. We know this, or do you know that? And one of the, I think it's Kanga or Roo, makes a tail for him after trying various things. And this is sewn on with a button that I took from an old cardigan of mine. And so always keep old cardigans, or at least take the buttons off and keep them for another project. So that's Eeyore. He has slightly bigger eyes than Winnie the Pooh, and I added the wool, the white wool at the side to give the impression of the whites of the eye, whereas Winnie's eyes are just black. But that's Eeyore, who I think is super as well. So after Eeyore, I had friends saying to me, oh, well, you have to make Piglet next. I said, yeah, I do. I need to get some pink yarn. So I did. And this pattern for Winnie the Pooh, not Winnie, this pattern for Piglet was not from Emily Designs. It was from a different design online, and I will post that here in a minute. So that's Piglet. he's slightly smaller, and I did use a 3.5 hook. For the other two, I used the size 4 hook because I wanted him to be a little bit smaller than the others. So there he is. There is Piglet. There is some discrepancy here. I'm not quite sure why, but I think sometimes when you're sewing in around, that's what just happens. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just me. So there is Piglet. I found these really tricky as well, these lines here. I can sew in a straight line, but it seemed to be every time I was doing it, they were kind of a bit jagged, and plus the yarn, the jean, whatever, the wool that I used to make the lines is a lot thinner than the Chanel yarn that was used to make the body, so it was kind of hiding in it all the time, and I was trying to be loose so it didn't get hidden, but then they'd be a bit loopy. Anyway, so there he is. There is Piglet. Tiny in comparison to the others. Not tiny, but slightly smaller, which is what I wanted. And there are loads of characters in the 100 Acre Wood, but I thought I've got to make Tigger. I've got to make Tigger. And did you know that Tigger wasn't even part of the original story? I thought he was. And when I listened to the original Winnie the Pooh song, he's not in it. So I Googled it and found out that he only came in book 2. So here is my Tigger. Another pattern completely from a designer online. Different kind of body, different legs. His legs kind of sit more flat rather than being at the side of his body. It was tricky. The colour changes all in between. I found it quite challenging for me as a, I don't know, I wouldn't say, maybe not beginner anymore, just past beginner crocheter. But I'm really happy with the way it turned out. The stripes on the back. There is some errors in here, which is why they're not completely spaced out properly, but maybe tigers aren't so mathematically printed. And there his little tail. So that is all the characters from my 100 Acre Wood. I may now go on to make Roo and Kanga, and I think is there a rabbit as well. Who knows? But all I can tell you is that it's too hot to carry on with this cardigan with 32 degrees outside. I will be back with more videos about trainers and Animal Crossing and crochet, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the summer holidays.
A donkey named Eeyore is his friend, and Kanga and little Roo. There's Rabbit and Piglet, and there's Owl, but most of all, Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. Tubby little cubby, all stuffed with fluff. He's Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. Willy-nilly, silly